Okay, take two at this because I recorded this morning, and apparently I never hit the record button, so now I'm actually confirming that it says record. I recorded a 20-minute video this morning on my commute to work where apparently I just talked into oblivion for no reason. But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Jets Driver's Seat. It is Monday, September 8th. The New York Jets are 0-1. I'm not gonna lie, that was tough. That was a real tough loss, guys. I was there. I was in attendance. I wanted to make this video yesterday. I was probably a little too emotional to do that. It probably would have came off pretty whiny and complainy and moody. I'm happy I didn't. It's also tailgating since 8:30 in the morning, so probably not in the best frame of mind to be doing that. Having now been able to sleep on it and have a full day of real world, let's jump in. What are my sunglasses? Alright, guess I'm doing this drive sunglasses-less. R.I.P. to my corneas. Anyway, let's start off the positives, because they're as disappointing as the end result was, and we'll get into that. There was a lot of positives to glean from yesterday. I want to start with Justin Fields. Justin Fields and the offense as a whole really took me by surprise. They looked a world better than I thought they would, especially at this point in the season. I thought this was going to be, I told you guys last week, a low-scoring game. I thought it was going to be a 16-13 defensive slog where it's just running the ball, and that's it. That did not happen. I think we broke that. I think the under was dead by halftime. It ended up being 64 points scored. 64? 66 points scored, 34-32. It was an exciting game, I'll give it that. But like our great-haired coach Aaron Glenn says, no moral victories here. Not into them. But talking about Justin Fields, I mean, the running ability was obviously on show. He is so goddamn fast, guys. Especially in person when you're watching him on the field. Because we were sitting like upper level 300s, not quite the corner, but in the end zone. So I was having that view of the field. When he hits a corner, he caught every corner, it felt like. He's just faster than everybody else on the field. Yeah, it's, really exciting to see someone in a Jet uniform be, like, the most athletically gifted player on the football field. It's refreshing. And I think we all knew that going in, that he was that kind of athlete. But the quarterback, Justin Fields, was more of a question. Didn't look like it yesterday. I haven't seen him play that way. Some of the windows that he fit that ball into were ridiculous. I mean, there's one play, I can't remember if it was the second quarter, when it was exactly, obviously, partying all morning. I believe it was the second quarter. Fields escapes sack within the pocket, kind of rolls out to his left, and instead of just like taking the ball and taking the probably 5 or 10 yards he can get on the ground, which is what I completely expected him to do. I mean, once I saw him get out, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I just expect him to take the ball 5 yards. That's it. Kind of like readjusted his body, and he didn't quite set his feet. He's still on the run. But he hits, I want to say it was Tyler Johnson down the field for like 16 yards, 17 yards, something like that. Eyes up the entire time, eyes down the field. That's a good quarterback play. That's significant growth from Justin Fields. And I give Tanner Engstrang a lot of credit too. That's his first game that he's calling as an offensive coordinator in the league. There was a play or two that we'll get into later that I wasn't pleased with, but overall I think they did a great job calling that offense. There was another one where Fields, I forget who he hit exactly. I think it might have been Josh Reynolds. When he released the ball, it was probably about 10 yards downfield. When he released the ball, I'm like, I almost covered my eyes. I cringed. I was like, that's a pick. He fit this ball in a window that might have been the size of the football itself. It was between two Steelers converging on the ball. Right between them, that ball went straight into the gut. I think it ended up being a first down, or maybe it was a second and inches, or whatever it was. And just really impressive throw. I mean, is it the smartest throw? Probably not, but he made it work, and his arm looked strong. There's a lot to like about Justin Fields yesterday. The 2 rushing touchdowns, the push in the first drive to convert to 3rd and 1, which needs to be a bigger part of the offense. I'll touch on that now, I guess. When they went for the first 4th down conversion, not 4th down, the 2-point conversion, where Nick Folk missed the first field goal, and then it got called back as a penalty, and they got 1 yard and then 2-point to make it a 1-yard conversion. It threw me. I don't understand. If you want to be a power football team, a power running team, why are you running a halfback dive out of the shotgun in that situation? You're a power team. Just line up in goal line formation, get your fullback on the field, and shove it down the middle. Why would you start 5 yards back from where you need to go to run the ball for 1 yard in that situation? Honestly, it pissed me off when it happened. It still annoys me to think about now. That push in the first drive that they did, a QB sneak, whatever you want to call it, just feels picked up like 5 yards, just like hitting bottom and moving and over. Like, that's all you got to do. I mean, you're going to tell me Braylon Allen can't get 1 yard on a set halfback dive where he's just smashing into the line? He's going to get it. But I do want to bring this up too. Breece Hall looked like a new man. Breece Hall looked as close to rookie Breece Hall as I think we've seen in a while, in all the best ways. He looked fast, he looked explosive, and he looked decisive. And that's something we didn't see from Breece last year. I think Breece was playing hurt last year. I've heard that. I don't know if that was ever confirmed. He was dealing with some kind of leg issue. He looked so different. He looked so much faster, so much better acceleration, but the decisiveness. I don't think he was ever comfortable in that offense last year. And whatever run scheme they had, he hit a hole, he saw a hole, he would go for it. Like, that was the best I've seen him in quite some time, and that's really exciting because, like, he's in an offense that doesn't have many weapons as ball carriers right now, besides Garrett Wilson and apparently Justin Fields. They need Breece Hall to come up big. Breece Hall can keep that up and be spelled by Braylon Allen to keep him fresh, and Isaiah Davis. Huge for this season. And the run game, I am not scared of at all. The pass game, I'm a lot less scared of now. Like, they look like they knew what they're doing against a pretty damn good defense the Steelers have. Every year they have a good defense. Offensive line did a great job. I want to shout out Armin Membu. I mean, first round pick, first game, pitching a shutout, no sacks, no hurries, no pressures, nothing like that. Really good job by the rookie against, TJ Watt's on the other side. I'm not sure how many times he was lined up over him, but really great game by Armin Membu and the entire offensive line, for that matter. Looking at special teams, I want to talk about this quick. Obviously, the Xavier Gipson fumble is glaring and unacceptable. And listen, he should probably be cut. They held on to him over Pritchett as the return man because he was supposed to be the safer option and have less muff punts and fumbles and stuff like that. He was supposed to be the more secure, even though he's less exciting returner. You can't do that. Plenty of people are going to agree with me. That cost us the game. Yes, there's game after that. You had chances after that. That was such a horrific turning point where you're giving up 14 points in like a minute and a half. That whole game flipped. The entire momentum of that game is different. You just can't do it. It can't happen. Otherwise, on special teams, I'm concerned about Nick Folk. On the stat line, officially, yes, he was perfect. He had the point after that was a miss. It just got called back for penalty, so it didn't count. On the long field goal he had, I get it's long. That ball barely squeaked in. I'm like, Nick Folk is supposed to be the more consistent guy, even if he doesn't have the booming leg anymore. That ball was weird. I didn't like how that looked. I think it's something worth watching, at least, over the next few games. So, is Nick Folk about to fall off a cliff as soon as we sign him after he's been, a pretty consistent kicker for the last 20 years in the league? Hopefully, this is just kind of a little fluke, maybe wind, I don't know. But I think it's something worth watching, at the very least. Otherwise, Xavier Gipson, I think he's got to go. And this is even before that. Before the fumble. He had a nice kickoff return where he got down to the 40, 50, somewhere around there. When you're not watching on TV, you tend to kind of forget the exact landing spots of where people were. You're not staring at the screen the same way. He kind of goes down like a phantom tackle, trips on his own feet, goes down. He's never touched, and he just drops the ball. That's a live ball. That should have been a fumble, and it was kind of a blown call by the refs. I mean, the refs were another issue in the game. I don't want to blame the refs on losses because it's weak. Both teams, they had blown calls against both sides, but some of them were not great. Justin Fields, how many times are you going to get helmeted as a quarterback and not get a call? That's been his entire career. He's a tough motherfucker, and he's never gotten his calls. So maybe that changes the better he plays. I don't know. But Xavier Gipson, I think I've seen enough. I have to look into it. I mean, obviously, guys, I'm not an expert. I'm not focusing all my time as an analyst of this team. I follow them as closely as, life will allow me to. And I care deeply. And I feel like I'm going to die every time they lose. But if my memory serves me, Kenny Nwangu made this team. Was he hurt this week? Did they cut him this week and make room for practice? I'm not sure what happened. I got to look into that. But if he should be the kick returner going forward. It's a tough break for Gipson, but you can't. It's just, you can't. Remember even a couple of years ago, he had a fumble kickoff return in Buffalo. I was at that game in Buffalo. It's becoming a concern. I think he should be gone this week. Looking at the defense, positives. Run defense looked great. They really couldn't get anything going on the ground. Pass rush looked pretty decent. Quinton Williams looked fantastic. Quinton Williams looked so much better than he did last year. Disruptive force. I know he did show up in the box score too, but even outside the box score, it felt like he was always around. He was pushing pockets. He was doing everything. Will McDonald, my boy, 2 sacks. I think he's just in for an awesome year. I can't wait to see what he ends up with. Everybody's staying healthy, hopefully. Brandon Stevens had a rough day. Pass coverage in general had a pretty rough day. I'm hoping that's, more of miscommunications than it is talent, and I think it is. I think that's something that's going to be worked out over time. I hope, at least. Aaron Rodgers played well, and it's a veteran quarterback taking advantage of a defense under a new scheme that doesn't maybe know everything that they're doing yet, even though they really should. I do want to say tackling looked so much better than it did under Robert Saleh. His team was ready to hit. They were ready to play. They wrapped up. I think there was one play early in the game where it was like a noticeable, not really even a whiff. It was kind of like a pull-off where he didn't make the tackle. I'm not sure who it was. It was some defensive back. I think it was DK went up the sideline in the first drive. That's another part of this, too. They need to get better at getting off the field on third down. They got better as the game went on, I think. But that first drive, 2 backbreakers, third down conversions, can't allow that to continue. Got to get off the field on third down. But overall, not the cleanest, but really, was it a 34-point performance without the fumble from Xavier Gipson? It's more like probably a 28, 25 performance. Still not awesome, but, you know, when your offense scores 32 points, you got to win either way, in my opinion. They also had 2 picks that they dropped that hit them right in the hands. That should have went the other way. They caused 2 fumbles on defense that were both recovered by Pittsburgh. So you lost 4 turnovers right there. Some of that's bad luck, some of that's execution. I mean, if you get 2 out of those 4 to go your way, I think this game looks very different. Yeah, so, I mean, when you look at it that way, they went 0 for 4 in turnover opportunities and lost one of their own. So it's almost like a 5 turnover swing at that point. You're not going to win games that way. So they got to start executing when it comes to turnovers and taking advantage of those opportunities when they come up, because they're not going to come up all the time. It's a rare thing. So, and it changes games, as we saw with Xavier Gipson, where guess what? The Steelers took advantage of it. Last thing we got Buffalo next week. I'm probably not going to be able to do a video on it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm going to be away this week. I'll be driving through Washington State on a little hiking trip. So I don't know if I'll have a chance to do it solo, because this is usually a solo show. And I don't know if I want to make a video of someone sitting next to me the entire time. But either way, I'll probably miss also the game Sunday, which is driving me a little insane the closer we get to it. Like, I can't believe I actually committed to this trip at that point. But I'm excited for the trip too. So it's all good things. It all works out. Maybe I can get it on the radio or some type of streaming while I'm in the mountains of Washington State. I'll be on Mount Rainier, hopefully not dying in a wildfire, because apparently that's going on over there. Oh God. But anyway, I mean, the Bills did what the Bills did last night. That was insane, for lack of a better word. I went to bed around halftime. I was shot from the tailgate. I woke up shocked when I saw that final score. But from what I did see earlier in the game, they cannot stop the run. Baltimore ran all over them on the ground, and obviously that seems to be the Jets' strength right now. So I think we actually match up a little well. Maybe the Bills come off the exciting drama of last night with a little bit of a hangover next week. They look ahead to past us because, we're the Jets. We've tended to play them well in games where we shouldn't a handful of times. We almost beat them at home last year. We should have beat them at home last year if Greg Zuerlein doesn't miss 2 field goals. They tend to play them well at home. So I think this game is going to be closer than people think, and maybe they squeak out. And the Bills were never going to go 0-2. So they're 1-0. Maybe their guard's down just a tiny bit. And I know Aaron Glenn does not want to start 0-2, and he's going to have this team ready. That's really that's what I got for this one. So positives. I'm in a much better mental state now than I was yesterday. I was pretty doom and gloom yesterday when that game ended. But yeah, my phone's ringing, so I'm gonna go.